Hi, my name is Kristen Shiwitz, and today I'm going to walk you through how to give an informal reading conference during students' independent reading time. When you're finished listening to this professional development session, you will be able to explain how the information processing theory relates to independent reading, identify reading strategies to teach in mini lessons, understand how to give an informal reading conference, and teach students how to set reading goals and coach them to achieve these goals. Before we get started, it's important to understand the theories behind independent reading and instruction of reading strategies. The first theory is the information processing theory. This theory was created by Atkinson and Shiffrin. This theory states that reading is a meaning-making process, meaning when readers read the words, they're trying to understand what they're reading and what the reading is telling them. This theory also believes that readers' interpretation of text is individualistic, meaning that they're trying to make their own meaning from what they read. Also, readers are able to move information from their short-term memory to their long-term memory through repetition and rehearsal. Another theory related to independent reading is the metacognition theory. This was created by Flavel and Brown. Readers use metacognitive strategies to assist in understanding text. This means that they are thinking about their thinking as they're reading. This is a self-monitoring system that focuses on process and product. The last theory is the interactive compensatory model, created by Stanovich from an initial theory by Rumelhart. This theory states that readers use different processors to get through text. If one is weak, for example, they have a hard time decoding big words, then they will compensate by using another one. For example, they might use context clues to read those big words. Now that we know what students are doing as they read, how can these reading conferences help propel their reading? Reading conferences help assess students' independent reading level. They're used to see how students are comprehending text, to see what's going on in their head as they read. They're also used to assess how well students are applying reading strategies taught in mini lessons, and to give students individualized or differentiated instruction and support. Finally, they're used to improve their reading by setting goals and allowing a lot of practice to achieve those goals. Now we're going to look at the framework of giving an informal reading conference. Reading conferences are given during independent reading to ensure that students are applying reading strategies as they read. When giving an informal reading conference, first thing you want to do is record the student's name, date, and the title of the book that they're reading. So their name and date would go in this box, and the title of the book they're reading would go here on this first line. You want to think about their strengths. What does the reader already bring to the reading table? That will be recorded up here. As you observe the student reading, you want to make note of what he or she is struggling with and think about how you can explicitly instruct the student to fix up their reading. That will be recorded here next to the target. What do you want them to get out of that conference? What kind of strategy do you want them to apply to their future reading? You'll then give that student strategies that he or she can use in independent reading to meet those reading goals. These are their next steps to work on before you meet with the student again. These next steps are listed here next to the target. This is what you want them to work on before you meet with them the following time. Let's take a look at what the reading conference would look like in practice.
We've been working on predicting what's going to happen or what do you think is going to happen.
So if I were to have recorded some of the data that I collected with Amori reading and setting that goal, this might be what my conference sheet might look like for her. I put her name and date over on the side, and here's the title of the book she was reading, My Sister the Vampire Switched. Before we started reading, I noticed that some of her strengths as a reader were that she has really great comprehension. She thinks about what she's reading, and she's good at predicting what might happen next in the story based on the clues that she's read already. My goal for her would be to work on the words that she's mispronouncing, especially those words with the double consonants, and that's what Rick was really trying to target for Amori. I would teach her the rule of the double consonants making the short vowel sound, and then help her apply that to her future reading. So her goal then up here would be working on accuracy under the CAFE framework. She'd be trying to read the hard words correctly. So here are her next steps towards meeting that goal. If she gets stuck on a word that she can't read, he suggested that she ask a neighbor. And then he also wants her to apply that rule of the double consonant in order to read those words correctly. Here's kind of a cheat sheet that you can keep handy while giving reading conferences. It's a graphic organizer that comes from the CAFE model that will provide you with goals and strategies to teach them to reach those goals based on what you're seeing and hearing from the student. So it's kind of an if-then chart of goal setting. This is what you're seeing. This is what their goal might be. And here are two possible strategies that you can use to help them reach that goal. So now it's your turn to go ahead and practice. You're sitting at tables with groups of 4 to 6 people, and you have a bunch of books in the middle of that table. You're going to practice giving an informal reading conference to a peer. Listen to how and what they're reading, and think about what they're doing well and what they still need to work on. Then you'll set a goal for their reading and leave them with strategies to use to reach that goal. You may use the quick reference sheets for prompting and recording. So now that you know the theories behind independent reading and have been given a framework to give an informal reading conference, I'm hoping you feel more confident in using this tool in the classroom. In closing today, I want to see how comfortable you feel in running reading conferences within your classroom. So we're going to do a quick little exit slip. You're going to be given a sticky note, and I want you to place it on this colored continuum based on your level of comfort in giving an informal reading conference. Put your sticky note on the red if you need help, you feel like you still can't do it. Yellow means I'm starting to understand the process but could use a little more practice, and green means you got it, you're ready to go. Thank you for your participation in our professional development session today.